All right, we're going to begin. So I want to welcome everyone. This is our 8th grade team graduation meeting. I want to introduce the people that are also helping me with this meeting. Miss Gavigan, if you could just wave. Miss Gavigan's the dean for the 8th grade. She's also going to be helping me with the slides. Miss DiMartino is a professore of Espanol. Profesora, sorry, of Espanol.
Hola.
Mr. Magrino is an ELA teacher, 8th grade also, and part of the senior activities team.
Hello, everybody.
Mr. So is on here with us also.
How's everybody doing?
Perfect. And he'll be helping us with the tech to make sure our tech is up to par. So we have been entering the classrooms. I've had the teachers who are live in the building, as well as the teachers on remote and blended, speaking to the students almost daily over the last week or two, specifically talking about the specifications for graduation, what is going to be needed to have a live graduation. And we want to kind of share that with you guys because we know that sometimes the students always don't bring that information home to the families.
Okay, so, bienvenidos a todos. Soy la señora DiMartino para ayudarlos hoy aquí en español. Hoy aquí tenemos la reunión de padres de 8º grado. Durante la semana, el asistente al principal y la señora Gavigan y los profesores que son encargados de la graduación han ido a los salones, sea en la línea o en la escuela, diciéndoles a los estudiantes lo que ellos necesitan y lo que ustedes necesitan saber. Pero por si acaso, estamos dando esta reunión para asegurarnos de que ustedes entiendan lo que necesitamos de ustedes. Gracias.
Thank you, Ms. DiMartino. Ms. Gavigan, you can go to the next slide.
Okay.
So the students were given a digital copy, as well as students were handed a backpacked copy, which is a hard copy also, of the permission slip for graduation. Now, the plan for graduation is only a $25 fee, which will entail the entire ceremony. Sorry, do you want to translate that?
Okay, so a cada estudiante se le dio ¿cómo se dice? Un permiso para que ustedes firmen. Si los estudiantes están remotos, se lo dieron digital, y si los estudiantes están en la escuela, se lo dieron en papel. Es muy, muy importante que ustedes firmen esto. Ellos van a necesitar $25. Los $25 cubren todo el aspecto de la graduación.
Now that $25, thank you, Ms. DiMartino, is going to cover the renting of a tent. We plan on having the ceremony in the schoolyard, the big part of the schoolyard. Sometimes you'll see cars parked there. That schoolyard will be covered in a giant circus tent. I don't know if it's white, but in my mind, I picture a giant white tent. We're going to have a tent company come the day before the ceremony. They're going to be putting the tent up. Chairs will be set up in small pods. And the $25 will cover that ceremony for each student, which I think Zori kind of went over. Now, the permission slip that's up on the screen right now, we need information very quickly, unfortunately, because we have to make decisions about the safety and security of the kids and the families on that day. So we need this permission slip back, signed and returned to the school no later than May 10th.
Okay, esto es muy importante. Nosotros tenemos que hacer decisiones porque tenemos reglas que, recuérdense que tenemos la situación con el COVID. So es muy importante que ustedes firmen esto y lo devuelvan. El día 10 es el último día. Y lo devuelvan antes o en el día 10 de mayo, porque con esto nos van a dar un número y con ese número entonces nosotros podemos hacer las decisiones apropiadas para proteger a todo el mundo.
Okay, so that's the first deadline. That's an important deadline because once we have this information back, we will start the ball rolling on how to plan out the actual ceremony itself. The ceremony days are going to be over 2 days. It's a very busy 2 days. We are going to have 10 graduation ceremonies. That's 10. That's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Now, I'm on remote, so it's very difficult for me to help plan this with the teachers that are on the building. So I've had teachers communicate with me daily, going outside, checking the space, and the best way to do it is have each class graduate one at a time with 2 guests. You can flip to the next screen, Larissa, also. I think that's the Spanish one also, right?
Okay, so yeah, but this is, let me just let them know.
Okay.
El 10, ok, le pusimos ahí que el último día otra vez es el 10 de mayo y el señor Chaplin le está dando la importancia de recibir el permiso y el pago para el día 10 o antes, porque nosotros tenemos que entonces planear cómo se va a hacer la graduación. Van a ser 10 diferentes ceremonias, porque tenemos que hacerlo así por el COVID y las reglas que tenemos. Y van a ser martes y miércoles, 2 días, porque es de la única manera que podemos hacerlo para proteger a todo el mundo.
Thank you, Ms. DiMartino.
Mr. Kachabali, if I can just add in on how they can pay. If your child is in person, they're blended, they're coming into the school building, they can bring in their money with the permission slip, and they would pay myself, Ms. Gavigan, or Mr. Simone, and they will get a paper receipt that they will bring home. If your child is remote, then you can come Monday, Wednesday, or Friday between 8 to 10 to the school with the money in the permission slip, and you will get a paper receipt, or you can mail it to the school, and we will send you an email as your receipt.
And just to add what Mr. Magrino said about the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, one of us will be sitting at a table in the backyard where usually the 6th grade students leave at the end of the day, but we will be there between 8 and 10, like he said. So if you want to come by in the morning, you can.
Okay, para los estudiantes que estén remoto, los padres pueden venir lunes, miércoles o viernes de 8 a 10 solamente. Si los estudiantes van a la escuela, ellos pueden dárselo a cualquier día a la señora Cavigan o al señor Magrino, a cualquiera de los, al señor Simón, en la misma escuela. Otra vez, muy importante, si los estudiantes son remotos, ustedes pueden venir lunes, miércoles o viernes de 8 a 10. Okay.
Now, I see one hand raised, but I'm going to wait till questions till the end, if that's okay. We only have 1 or 2 more slides, and then I'll take questions for the next 40 minutes.
Si tienen alguna pregunta, póngalo, apúntenla y enseguida que terminemos, a lo último, vamos a tomar las preguntas. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, guys. All right, Ms. Gavigan, you can flip to the next. Okay, now here is another important date and deadline. Now, remember, I said the $25 covers the ceremony. We have not been able to do any of the things we used to do with the cap and gown, the rings, the autograph books. Anything that's an in-person thing, we can't do. We can't handle it and then handle it to you guys. We can't order it and then distribute it. So what we did is we went to the company that we've used for many years. They set up a special website and link for you guys to go on and place your own orders of any senior materials you might want, a cap and gown, an autograph book. I think, Magrino, they even maybe can order a ring. Is that?
Yes. So I'm going to drop some links in the chat. What you're talking about, cap and gown and other keepsakes, like an autograph book, they are going to be through this company, Fogarty, and that link is in the chat now. In order to get a ring, a class ring, that's a company called Reed Ring. I'm going to drop that chat. I'm going to drop that link in the chat in a moment.
All right.
So, esto es muy importante. Obviamente y lamentablemente, nosotros no podemos hacer lo que hacíamos cuando todos los estudiantes estaban en la escuela. Otra vez, por el COVID, hay reglas y no nos permiten. Pero ustedes, y era que antes nosotros ordenábamos todo para los niños, ahora no podemos. Si ustedes quieren que sus niños porten o un anillo, el cap and gown, cualquier cosa perteneciendo a la graduación, ustedes tienen que llamar a la compañía y poner un orden para que lo tengan para el día de graduación, pero tienen que hacerlo no más tardar de mayo 15 para que así ellos puedan mandárselo a su casa. Otra vez, es muy importante, no tienen que hacerlo, esto es su decisión, pero tienen que hacerlo por el viernes mayo 15. El señor Magrino está poniendo en el enlace, el enlace en el chat room. Ustedes pueden ahí copiarlo y de ahí mismo pueden ordenar. Él está poniendo para el anillo class ring, hay uno, para el cap and gown le va a poner otro, y ahí es que ustedes tienen que entrar para ordenarlo. O si no, pueden llamar al número que dice 1516-639-5799.
Did I say all that?
No, but
Oh,
it's bad,
thank
Mr.
you.
Martino always says
Well, I want to take this opportunity, because we're talking about this now, to thank the Parents Association from 77, because I've been in contact with Ms. Chacon, the president, and the other team members over the last few months, and they wanted to do something like this for the students. They wanted to go and order their own things. They wanted to give you guys this opportunity. But because of the situation where we're not able to have anything distributed to the building and then handed out to you guys, we can't be the middleman in this. So unfortunately, even though we used to always order it to the school and then distribute it, we're not able to do that this year. So I want to thank them for, and Mr. Cohn, we've had this conversation. This gives the opportunity for the families to get everything they may want for their family for that day. Now, the deadline in there saying May 15th, that's the other important deadline. If you contact Fogarty and you get the order in no later than May 15th, gives you a little bit over 2 weeks, you will be able to have whatever you order from them delivered to your home before graduation day. So if you want that cap and gown, you can either use this company, you can find another place to purchase it, but if you want it from this company delivered to your house, it has to be by May 15th.
I'm getting some questions, Mr. C, about if students are allowed to wear the cap and gown.
Perfect.
And so a couple people have asked in the chat, students are allowed to wear a cap and gown on the day of the graduation. It is not required. It is optional. If you'd like to buy it and your child would like to wear it, they can.
Okay. Solo estudiantes pueden usar la toga y el birete, cap and gown. Lo digo en español e inglés porque a veces no, las personas no entienden. Pero es opcional, no es mandatorio. I have a question. Is it a particular color?
Typically, the color that they wear is black.
But
they can choose, listen, if they don't use this company and they want to choose a different color or it's less expensive, they can choose any color they want.
Usualmente el color que usan es negro, pero si ustedes van a usar otra compañía, si encuentran algo más barato, pueden hacer lo que ustedes deseen.
Okay, so on that day, there will be students in dresses, students in slacks, students in white, caps and gowns, maybe black caps and gowns. It's going to be fine because we'll all be together hopefully together for the final time. And as those kids go off to graduation, the cap and gown is really for a photo or memorabilia for you guys, for the families. So you'll be taking pictures separately. And so if you want a white cap and gown because it goes with the color of your dress, that's great. Or if it goes with the color of your pants, that's great. Okay?
So, otra vez, no hay mandato, lo que ustedes quieran, puede ser de esta compañía, pueden ordenar de otra que es más barata, el color no importa, lo que importa es que vamos a estar ahí unidos por nuestro último día.
The only thing I would ask is that everyone dresses appropriately that day. Remember, it's going to be hot, it's going to be the summer, but we're going to be in public in front of many other families, so make sure we keep it appropriate for the day.
Porque lo único que pedimos es que obviamente, para recordar, yo sé que a veces hace mucho calor, pero que vistamos apropiadamente para la ocasión.
Great. Thank you. Ms. DiMartino, I'm sorry, Ms. Gavian, I think the next one is just Spanish of the same. Zori, you want to? I mean, you know, that's all we need. The dates now.
Yeah, okay.
Did you know
I already reiterated that.
Okay,
Perfect.
so they know that.
Yep.
Okay.
Now we're going to record. We are recording this, guys. Also, so we're going to share this with the students so that it's going to be in the students' emails also. So if you want to go back and look at it, you'll be able to look at it as well and maybe hear this again.
There's a great question. Melissa's asking what time will graduation
What
be?
time will it be? Well, let's get to the nitty gritty. Okay. Remember, I said 10 ceremonies. I'm already exhausted just thinking about 10 ceremonies. And I'm here. So anyway, okay. The first ceremony will be on Tuesday, June 22nd. Now, this is the last week of school. So we have school Monday. They'll be sending up the tents on Monday. Tuesday morning will be the first ceremony. Now, the goal is we're going to have 5 classes graduate each day. Now, there may seem to be more. My math might be off in the last one, but we're going to combine groups to make it 5 groups. But that first day, classes 801 through 805 will be graduating.
Okay, so Tuesday, what date again?
June 22nd.
Junio, okay, 22 de junio. Okay, and classes 801?
Yep, through 805. 801, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now that's 5 classes. Now there's not much time in a day. So we're going to be doing the assembly line graduation. Now, the hardest part is going to be asking Mr. Miller not to talk for 45 minutes for each one of those graduations, because we know Mr. Miller likes to say a lot. So we're going to have a giant hook, and we're going to be able to pull him off the stage. So the goal is for that day, and I'll get to the next day. Well, either day. Let's get to the second day first, and then I'll explain what the whole protocol for that day is. Now, Wednesday, the following day, we're going to start again. We're going to combine 907, 908, and 909 because they don't have as many students into one group. And then we will have 807, 808, 809, and 806. So it's really still 5 more ceremonies, okay? Now, some students on here who are probably going to ask me, how come 805 is last and 806 is last? There's a reason for that also. The city happened to put the Regents exams on Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning. So some of the students from 805 and 806 take that exam in the morning. Zori, do you want to say that too?
Okay, so va a haber, primeramente van a haber diferentes ceremonias, como él dijo, son 10. So, el primer día, ese martes 22, van a hacer las clases de 801, 2, 3, 4 y 5. Algunas personas dicen, pero ¿por qué ciertas clases van a ir primero, ciertas clases van a ir después? Tenemos una razón. Tenemos, la ciudad hizo que los Regents, los exámenes Regents, sean el mismo día de la graduación. So tenemos que trabajar con los niños de nuestra escuela que van a tomar el examen ese día. Y por eso vamos a hacer el horario. Cuando tengamos el horario, lo puse en el chat, le vamos a dejar saber exactamente cuándo. I went a little ahead and said when we have the actual schedule, we will let them know. We're putting it in English and Spanish. I'm following Mr. Moreno.
Perfect.
Marino.
Yeah, I don't know which exam. I don't know if the math is the Tuesday and the living environment is the Wednesday. I have to look on that. But if the student is taking both, then it doesn't matter. They would still come in the morning. That's why we put 805 and 6 at the end, so that they can still take the exam, still go home and change, or still be able to meet their family for the ceremony. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, the day of the ceremony. Remember, we're trying to plan this. What did they used to say? We're trying to build the plane while they're flying it. So we're building this plane while we fly it also. This is our goal for that day. We've strategically measured out, based on the CDC guidelines and what DOE has provided us for guidelines for graduation, there's still that 6-foot rule that is imposed for students and for everybody, basically. So what we did is we bought a tent or rented a tent that would allow us to have 30 boxes boxed off that will be 6 feet apart. Now, within those boxes or pods, think about like a ball game. You have like a little personal box. It might be 4 seats. Here, there's going to be 3 seats in each pod or box. One of those seats is taken by the graduate. Now, the only thing we can do is allow 2 other people to join that student in chairs in the pod. Okay? Now, what if, oh, can I get an extra ticket? But mister, wait. Now, every year when we've had live graduations, I've given out tickets like it's my job. Oh, let me get an extra. We had a big enough space, and we let as many people as we could in. We barely, if ever, said no. In this case, it is a hard no. So,
Okay.
Zora, you want to just go over, what the pods consist of, maybe?
Ok, so primeramente nosotros ordenamos un tent que adentro de ese tent va a haber como 30 como cajitas, no sé cómo explicarle, pero como cajitas con asientos. Ahí van a haber una persona, la persona graduándose, el niño o la niña graduándose, y luego 2 personas, así sea mamá, papá, abuela, encargado, no importa quién sea, pero solamente...
Tia. I know Tio and Tia.
Yes, tío, las personas que sean, exacto. Eso no importa, pero solamente 2. No podemos hacer nada más según las reglas, otra vez por el COVID, 6 pies aparte y no podemos, la ciudad no nos deja. Usualmente el señor Catrapi daba muchos boletos, pero no podemos dar más de 2 boletos. O va a ser 3 personas por familia. El graduado o la graduada y 2 personas que los van a acompañar. Así, 2 familiares, sean lo que sean. No nos pueden pedir, podemos aguantar a un niño en la farda. La respuesta es no. Usualmente nosotros tratamos de trabajar con ustedes. Esta vez no podemos.
And I caught my Spanish is getting better. I can understand most of what you said, but I can't say it. But I did know that you added, we can't have any small child or children with you. Like, we had a parent say, oh, well, if it's my husband and myself, can I just bring our baby and she'll sit on my lap? Absolutely not. I cannot make an exception in any case for a third person of any age, and no animals either. No dogs, no cats, no pet squirrels, nothing. So this way, we have to keep to these parameters. Once again, it's outside. We have to keep to these personal space boundaries. The 6-foot rule is still very important. There's going to be a lot of people and a lot of moving parts that day. So go ahead.
Yeah, and also I the fact that we have the yard, we're very lucky as a school to have the yard. A lot of middle schools do not have that, and that gives us sort of an incentive, to have this graduation. A lot of students are not going to have a graduation, and it's sort of a privilege, that we have this yard and we're able to do it in this way, because we usually do it at your college. We're here, we decided to do it in the backyard. So it is something ceremonial for the students, it's going to be very special. And I know it's very difficult because I had a lot of parents asking me, can I bring, my grandmother or my aunt or my uncle? And, we feel really bad, but again, it's CDC rules. And because of the pandemic, like Mr. Kachopoulos said, we really cannot make any exceptions.
Una de las cosas que dijo la señora Karen, que es verdad, nosotros tenemos mucha suerte que tenemos la yarda atrás, que es bastante grande. Otras escuelas no tienen el privilegio que tenemos nosotros, y otras escuelas no pueden hacer la ceremonia que nosotros estamos haciendo. So, cuando le decimos, y lo decimos con mucha pena en el corazón, que no podemos darle ese extra boleto, así sea para un abuelo o abuela, nos duele muchísimo, pero no podemos, no es nuestra regla, es la regla de la ciudad y tenemos que mantenerla.
Thank you. Now, I know the next question, or one of the questions may be, okay, well, my child's, let's say, in 803. I see that my child's class is going 3rd that day. What time is that? Now, we have tentative times laid out because we had to space out the day to add 5 graduations before the end of the day. And if you figure 90 people could be under a tent at any time, I have to now move those 90 people. I have to have 30 graduates possibly at any time, walk across, get a diploma, give Mr. Miller an elbow bump, and then walk off the stage. We're going to do that for every student. It may not be on a stage. It might be below the stage. We'll figure that out. But they're going to still come up. Their names are going to be called, and they'll still come up and get a diploma. That's a lot of moving pieces. To get those 90 people out from under that tent, move them out to the back schoolyard where the grass is, and then get another group to come in, that's going to take time. In addition, we're going to probably try to wipe everything down or have the cleaners from the school help us, the janitors, the custodians, to come help us clean the furniture before the next family comes in. So because of those protocols, we need to have a group out before we bring the next group in. I don't know, do we have to translate that? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's very important. Una de las cosas que él dice es, otra vez, el horario lo estamos haciendo de acuerdo a las responsabilidades que tenemos. Por ejemplo, vamos a tener como 90 personas, so tenemos que asegurarnos que esas 90 personas salgan para que los otros estudiantes que se van a graduar entren. Y también tenemos que limpiar los asientos para, otra vez, el COVID. Las cosas son diferentes y para asegurar que todo el mundo esté bien, tenemos que limpiar, so tienen que tener la paciencia con nosotros, por favor.
Now, Mr. Miller has I was going to say genuinely, but generously and genuinely, if you know Mr. Miller, he wanted to make this as close to a real ceremony, even though it's outside in our yard, as we could possibly. So I know he's spoken to the tent company about a arch and banners that say 77 graduates that he's going to have made up, where we will put them in the outer yard, that where the artificial field is, the artificial turf field. He will put basically places where you can take photographs in front of either the banner or in front of the arch, where it will look more regal or more graduate-like.
Okay. El señor Miller, porque él es, si lo conocen, él siempre es muy generoso y hace las cosas de corazón. Cuando los se gradúen, le van a dar la oportunidad de ir a la yarda pequeña donde está el parque, y ahí él compró unas decoraciones para que ustedes puedan tomar fotos y se vea lindo con ustedes, con la familia, los niños, los graduados.
Perfect. So that's also an incentive for the families to leave the ceremony space to go out to the other yard where they can then take photos. We will have people outside directing everybody on where to go. Now, each ceremony itself, what did we say, Tommy? About 30-ish, 45? What did we say?
30 to 45 minutes, and we'll get the exact schedule for everyone. We'll get that information out there once everything is finalized.
Otra vez, cada grabación quizás sea de 35 a 45 minutos. No estamos seguros, pero estamos trabajando con el horario. Enseguida que tengamos todo detallado, le vamos a mandar la información.
Perfect. So now remember, if each ceremony is, let's say, 30 to 45 minutes, we still need time in between to move people and to clean up. So, and then the next group will come through. So I don't want to lock in times and tell you what exact time you'll be having a ceremony, but we'll have more specific details as we get closer to the date. Mm-hmm. You can kind of get an idea. We're not going to start before 8:30. The first ceremony will be somewhere between 8:30 and 9. And if you do the math, you kind of have an idea of when your class will be having their ceremony. All right, but we'll
La primera ceremonia va a comenzar con las 8:30. Vamos a decir que se tomen 30, 40 minutos, otros 20 minutos para que la gente salga y para limpiar. Nos da una idea más o menos cuando vamos a comenzar, pero como dijo el señor Chaplin, no queremos darle detalles ahora mismo hasta que estemos seguros nosotros.
Perfect. Okay, that's about all I know and have for now.